Let's talk about Jurgen Klopp. A massive night for them, of course. They're playing in the FA Cup third round replay at Molineux against Wolves. And one of the questions, I suppose all the audio there was to do with whether or not Jurgen Klopp is unsackable. Is he unsackable as Liverpool manager?
He's got so much credit in the bank. It's great to even kind of suggest that now. I know they're going for a bit of a rocky spell, as we're speaking about, but to even suggest that his job's under fire is nuts. I mean, you talk about a guy that they played maximum amount of games last season. They won the FA Cup and the League Cup, got to the Champions League final, lost, went right to the wire with Manchester City. So to all of a sudden then go like Klopp, is he under pressure? Is ridiculous. As I said, he's won the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Champions League, the EFL Cup, the Club Super Cup, FIFA Club World Cup. He's been a runner-up in the Champions League final twice. I mean, to say that...
I agree with everything you're saying, right? And he's a super manager.
Nuts.
He's a super manager, right? Most clubs, if not all clubs in Europe, would have him, right? Why has this question even come up? I don't get it. I know Liverpool are having a bad season, but still, you don't become a bad manager overnight. He is class. I mean, it pains me to say it, but listen, everyone knows Jurgen Klopp is an unbelievable manager. Okay, when you consider how long Liverpool waited without a league title, was it 30 years?
It's bonkers.
And he brought them that. He completely changed the team. He brought in players like Andy Robertson, who, I think they paid about £7 million for. Yeah. One of the best fullbacks in the Premier League.
I think it might even be less than that.
Was it?
Was Andy Robertson right 2 million, 2.5 million?
I've got 7 in my head.
8 million.
Oh,
8 million.
There you go, okay. But either way, he's bringing in players and trusting them. Fantastic manager.
Yeah.
And now, Liverpool are having a really, really bad run. But even they're not halfway through the season yet. They've got one more game. They're 9th in the Premier League. They're only, 10 points off top 4, which I don't think is anything at this stage of the season. I don't think they're going to get top 4, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did. So why is this question being asked about one of the best managers we've ever seen? Do
you know what? Just because we haven't seen Liverpool in this type of scenario before, where they're certainly under Jurgen Klopp, it's been from strength to strength. It's almost every season they've got better and better. But this season is the first time where they're having a bit of a wobble. And it's almost like they had a bit of a wobble when they had all them injuries, remember? But they still managed to
when Henderson went centre-half and...
Yeah, and Van Dijk was out there. They had all these injuries, but they still managed to find a way to finish third.
Yeah.
I think they finished. So it's one of them where I think anyone who's even whispering and muting about, maybe Jurgen Klopp's time's up. Also, if he left, who are you going to get who's going to be as good as him?
What happens if he's not going to be back? We read a stat yesterday, which we got slightly wrong, but we alluded to the fact that Chelsea have spent nearly £500 million in a short amount of time, and Liverpool have spent the same amount of money in 10 transfer windows, right? We know it's obvious that they need midfielders, and they need strength in a few other key areas as well. If he doesn't get the backing, I know Liverpool as a club is up for sale and they're looking for new owners, so I would imagine, a bit like Manchester United, the current owners are not going to put their hands in their pockets and spend ridiculous amounts of money, even though they've just bought in Gakpo. But either way, if the new owners come in and don't give him the funds that he requires to build Liverpool back to where they should be and where they were, is there a chance he could walk?
Yeah, but not anytime soon again. I think you'll assess the situation. Liverpool have still got really good players there. Really, really good players there. I think he'll definitely have a little think about he'll have a conversation first about what he does with this Liverpool team, what they're going to do, and then I think he'll go from there. But I can't see him walking because we spoke about there, he's won a Premier League title. Mate, he finished second with 97 points. 97 points. And also finished second with 92 points. So he could easily...
any other year that wins the
league.
Yeah.
So he could have easily be sitting with 3 Premier League titles.
Their game against Wolves tonight is a replay, of course, in the FA Cup, third round. It's live on talkSPORT. Build up to that begins straight after us. How important is this competition to Liverpool? They've got a big game at the weekend, of course, at Anfield. They're playing Chelsea, which is, you could argue, a bigger game, right? It's 3 points in the league.
They're the same points there, aren't they?
Yeah.
28.
Yeah, I think they're sort of 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
Do you expect Liverpool and Klopp to go full strength tonight, or near full strength, or rest a few key players for that game at the weekend?
Well, I don't know how many he can rest with the injuries that they've got as well. So I expect him, and he might rest, I think, maybe 1 or 2, and maybe change up 1 or 2 positions. But I expect Jurgen Klopp and this Liverpool team to go full strength again because they're the holders of the FA Cup. It's a chance for them to go on and defend it. Do you know what I mean? No one's ever going to rule them out of winning this competition again. So I think he'll assess it as he goes along, but I could see him going strong tonight and strong against... Well, he's going to have to go strong against Chelsea. But I think with the injuries, it might be just 1 or 2 positions. He's not going to make wholesale changes. Because imagine he makes wholesale changes tonight and they got absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
Because Wolves are a good team.
Let me ask you, there are some clubs you look at in the Premier League, you think FA Cup win and irrelevant of league position would be great. Yeah. Let's take, for argument's sake, Aston Villa, right?
Yeah.
Brentford, Fulham, Brighton. There's loads of clubs, win the FA Cup, finish 15th. What an amazing season, right? For Liverpool, where does winning the FA Cup rank for them because, of course, it's all about league positioning. I know this sounds horrible, and I'm a big fan of the FA Cup, but I sort of get the feeling that for a big club like Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, maybe not Arsenal.
Why not?
Because you haven't won the league for a long, long time.
Neither of you.
Okay, but
just funny. The way you try to seat United in there.
I'm just playing with you. I'll throw Arsenal in.
I know what you mean.
With those clubs, FA Cup is like it doesn't really matter.
No.
It's all about the league. So here's my question for you. Sorry, Benny. If Liverpool win the FA Cup and finish outside the top 4, is that a bad season?
I wouldn't say it's not a bad season, but it's not a great season for Liverpool because you're right. If they win the FA Cup, it is still a major trophy because the FA Cup is really special. We've spoke about it. They won it last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I always get the feeling with these clubs like Liverpool and Manchester City, I'll take them two, and even Chelsea actually, them three, because they're such serial winners and they win all the time, it almost feels like the FA Cup is a little bit, not irrelevant to them, but
beneath them.
A little bit beneath them. And listen, I love the FA Cup. It's one of my favourite competitions. But when you've been as successful as Chelsea have been for the last 20 years, 2 Champions League, Premier League titles, everything multiple times, and Manchester City, well, their record speaks for itself, and Liverpool, what they've done under Jurgen Klopp, it's almost like, would they take 8th and an FA Cup, Liverpool?
No, not
absolutely not.
They'd rather finish 4th than no trophy.
Whereas, as you said, they're Brighton, who's 7th. If they finish where they are now and with the FA Cup, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think Brighton finishing 17th FA Cup is amazing.
Yeah, maybe, potentially, yeah. So, I think whilst they're in the tournament, of course, they want to win it. You want to win everything that you're in. I don't think Jurgen Klopp would lose sleep if they lost and went out the FA Cup. If they finished...
If they lose tonight and beat Chelsea, happy days for the week.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.